Okay, now I'm here. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jared Nyberg. I'm the host here of JagaVision. We're on episode 84. 84 weeks of tea, 84 weeks of good conversation, 84 episodes of really good times. Today we're going to be discussing the pairing of red bean and of matcha. In the description, I tried to say daifuku, but apparently daifuku is a banned word, so I'm not allowed to use it, which I think is absolutely hilarious. I guess maybe it can be pronounced in a way that makes Twitch unhappy, but that's what's going on apparently. So this is going to be the second to last episode before we break for a little bit in the new year. You'll see us next week. We'll be showing you how to make an eggnog matcha latte for the holidays using eggnog made by our friends over at Full of Pea. But today I'm gonna be we're gonna have Sherri from Sister Speak join us, who I believe has just joined us now. Are you there, Sherri? Hello. Oh, let me see. Hello, Sherri?
Hello.
Oh, okay, awesome. There she is. Okay, fantastic. Welcome to JagaVision, episode 84. You know,
Yay!
I was just telling the audience that we are going to be pairing matcha and daifuku for today's show. And I was thinking there might be the potential to have Sister Speak join me live at JagaSilk, but I don't think it worked out today. But maybe maybe sometime in the new year. I was gonna have some kiwi daifuku with you, but
I would have done it.
yeah, we would have done, but I just need to communicate better because I think I thought it, but I don't think I actually said it.
Jill thought it, and I thought it. We were actually about to head out the door right over there.
Were you? Okay. But apparently I can't say daifuku. That's what I was also telling them, because apparently, so Twitch said that I was using a banned word and wouldn't let me go live. And as soon as I replaced daifuku with red bean, suddenly Twitch would let me go live. And I think that's the most hilarious thing ever. Because I guess,
my God.
because I think you can pronounce daifuku differently, and, and apparently then it's not okay. So really, really funny. Anyway, so the actual name of the episode is in the stream. Like, you can actually see it on the screen there underneath our photos here. But anyway, I figured that we could make some matcha together. You'll have to enjoy the daifuku vicariously. But if we do see you later on today or this week, we'll try and get you some kiwi daifuku. What's really cool about this is the dessert that we're serving tomorrow. Tomorrow is our second to last day open for the year. It's the last day that we have dessert made by our dessert chef, and we're using Saanich kiwis. Isn't that cool? So they're actually grown on Vancouver Island. And I didn't know this, but apparently, at least last time I checked, Vancouver Island is the second biggest producer of kiwis in the world. Isn't that crazy? It's like New Zealand, Vancouver Island. That's what it said last time I checked.
No
So, you have
I've
to.
been buying local kiwis throughout. I cannot wait, by the way, to go to the farm.
Yeah.
Dan's Market. When I was here in the spring, I bought pretty much 100% from the farms, and then I tried to keep everything local to Vancouver Island or Canada.
Which is possible, right? Yeah. If you.
And Europe. A little bit of Europe because of olive oil.
Okay. Fair.
And then I felt the healthiest I've ever felt. It was like the best my done. And my pairing today, by the way, is a chocolate powder.
Right.
That you water, because we haven't had a chance to get breakfast yet because we just got in last night.
Yeah.
And I paired it so carefully with the very expensive oku, and I only put a sprinkle in, but that's my pairing today.
Okumidori. Okuda by Fujioka. Very cool. Okay, well, my matcha today, and welcome back to Canada, by the way, from your tour.
Thanks.
Pretty excited to have you back in the country. So the matcha I'm drinking, I literally fired this morning. And it's kind of a reinterpretation of the Okumidori Ninotani by Yamaguchi. So his tea is always fantastic. If I was gonna fire any of them, I don't think this would be it. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? It'd be kind of cool to just try. So I actually fired 2 kilos. I milled 2 kilos unfired, and I was able to do a little bit of a side by side this morning, albeit at slightly hotter temperatures than I normally do. I normally do 60 degrees. This morning I cupped them both at 65, and I was really happy with the roast. It was really good. Yeah, I think we're in a good place. So I'm excited
That's cool.
to sort of reinterpret all of the selections that we have. The Okumidori Okuda is another one that I'm going to build up the courage and throw in the tea roaster, and see what happens. You know, I think the danger is I don't want to homogenize flavor. I really want to, more than anything, I want to really find an interesting expression of that particular tea and not make it too quote unquote roasty. So yeah, but we'll see what happens. So, but
Well, I just wanted to one up you and say that the matcha I'm drinking was actually fire roasted by fire spinners in Costa Rica,
amazing.
and
Okay.
then also by the jet burning from the plane.
Amazing. Next level. Yeah, no, that's what we got to do. Yeah, if we were anybody that doesn't have their own tea roaster just needs to use the jet fuel from a plane. That's definitely an option. No,
Or fire spinners on the beach.
sure, great.
Just come around to your table and just shh. It's probably not that funny.
I'm into it. I'm into it. Okay.
I'm totally just kidding.
Oh, I thought you were,
I'm so grateful.
I thought you were serious.
Oh, you thought it was... That's the best part. Whenever I tell a really ridiculous joke that isn't really that funny, I also say that I'm kidding, and it makes it less funny, even less funny.
That's good. I gotta remember that. I'm really good at telling unfunny jokes. So I think that if I just roll with that strategy, I can also further the unfunniness just that much. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I think it's a thing. You just gotta it's like when you tell a really corny joke and you just keep digging, you know, like you tell it and then people aren't laughing, so then you explain to them why it's funny.
And then it gets even more awkward, and then it gets more until like there's an awkward silence, and then
those are the best
actually
moments.
everyone just has to.
I live for those moments. Yeah.
Yeah, you wait for those moments,
Oh
or
yeah,
is it delay?
I live for those moments. I said, yeah, they're the best. Okay, I'm gonna make a matcha here. So for those watching that haven't watched us make matcha here at JagaSilk, the kind of the general rule of thumb we love to do is 2 grams through a sieve, and we like to put 90 grams of water over top. This is actually to make an usucha. And an usucha literally means thin tea. It's actually strong for North America, though. Like, this is a strong tea at 2 grams and 90. But there's another style of matcha called koicha. And koicha is definitely strong. It's the texture of thick paint. And when you drink it, you want to drink it in little tiny sips. Super, super floral. This is smelling so good. I'm really excited. Okay. So, and then we whisk for 15 seconds. What's up?
15 seconds? Okay, sorry. So 2 grams.
2 grams.
Oku. The only thing I don't have is a... Sorry, excuse me. I have hiccups randomly. The only thing I don't have is... Oh, no. Maybe I do somewhere.
What's that?
A sieve.
A sieve?
My sieve.
Didn't I send you
Let me just see.
I thought, like... So, for those watching that don't know, JagaSilk sponsors Sister Speak with tea. And more recently, a little bit of tea equipment, too. Did I not send a sieve along the right? Oh, yeah. Okay. Amazing. That sieve's going to work.
I got this epic scale from you. This scale is so beautiful. Like, what's the story behind this Asus scale?
The AWS? Yeah. The American Way scale.
AWS.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're really, really solid. We got them from 8 Ounce Coffee, and they just last a really long time. They have a 10-year warranty, and what's really great is that they're a 0.1 gram. The best are the ones that can plug in too. I think those ones have a plug-in. Did it come with an adapter?
Yeah, it plugs in and it also has batteries, and it has this cool little clock.
You can do both, and then it has actually a little inner case so that if you're traveling, you know, a lot of times scales can break if you don't use the inner case, because they kind of like, I don't know, like putting pressure on a scale when it's not in use is actually really hard on it. So when it's not on, so to have that makes it a lot more portable. It seemed like a good idea for for a world traveler like yourself. So I'm just.
That's awesome. And I also have this little pocket scale too.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's good too. We use that
Okay.
for when we're weighing out the half grams of matcha for our grain gauge
Oh.
for testing that.
Hard.
Oh yeah. See, that's really good. I'm really happy with that.
So 2 grams. I'm gonna be like really matcha'd out because I haven't had a proper breakfast.
I've been like freaking going full tilt. Like it's pretty interesting. Last week, were you on last week? No, you didn't.
Oh
Right?
my god, I was from the I was getting what are they called? Tamales. By the way, those tamales I didn't get to tell you were unbelievable.
Were they good? Oh yeah, you were on at the end of the episode. We were like drinking some sencha together. That's right. You used the really good stuff and you like mixed it in with your Singer's Delight. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Totally remember that.
We went to Matchstick yesterday in Vancouver, and they had a Singer's Delight on the menu, and I ordered it. And Jill was like, "I need it," and then I was like, "Oh my god,
that's awesome!" Yeah, we had a singer come by today. Actually, said they heard about Singer's Delight from Sister Speak, and they wanted a tea that's good for coating their throat during recording. And they,
Really?
Yeah, literally 5 minutes before I went live, I was talking to somebody at the door who's a singer. And that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty awesome. So I said, yeah, we collaborated with Sister Speak on this tea, and yeah. So, and that's awesome about Matchstick. That's really cool. And big gratitude to Jill for naming the tea.
Yeah.
The red bean that's in this daifuku. So, little story for those watching. So I'm gonna just bite into that.
90 milliliters. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna whisk as you do that.
So, red bean is made with anko is made with adzuki red bean,
I love.
and basically what happens is you get this really nice sweet bean. It's the texture of refried beans, really. It's kind of funny because I've known a number of Japanese friends who have gone to Latin America and had bean dishes there, and they're kind of like, this is weird. Why are the beans salty? You know, because they're used to the texture being sweet. And then the reverse often happens to the folks that are used to refried beans going and having anko or red bean for the first time. They'll be like, whoa, weird. This texture I'm used to being a savory thing, or beans are savory. You know, it's weird that it's sweet. You know, so it's interesting to see that in reverse. But for me, when I first went to Japan, I remember being really unimpressed with anko. I really didn't like it, the red bean paste. I mean, to put it in perspective,
Really?
I was 16. I was 16 years old.
But yeah. But ever since it's my favorite dessert, red bean paste.
No, I get it. Like you were always like, yeah. No, I have this image of you being very health conscious, and I am not when I'm thinking back at 16-year-old self. So
right, I was making your lunches. Remember in high school, you make your lunches.
This is true. So those watching too, Sherri is also my sister. But so there is nepotism in the arrangement with us providing her with tea for her tours in her decade-plus career as a musician. But yeah, you did make sure that I was actually eating, because I think that I was bad at that. So, and thank you. The red bean though, when I had it with a sencha in Japan, and then I had the red bean, there was something about the red bean that I found very dehydrating, I think, which was what I didn't like about it at the time. I think, you know, like really good anko is got some nice moisture content and all that, but the stuff I was having maybe didn't. I don't know. But when I had it with sencha, there was like a rehydration, or like so the way that it interacted with the tea, and I didn't really understand it at the time, but I think it was the tannins, the soft tannins from the tea that would interact with the sweetness of the anko, and then I would go back and forth. I had the same thing happen once when I was having just bread and olives and cheese and wine, and I was just going back and forth. And you have some salty olives, and then you want to have some wine. You have some cheese, you have a little bit of wine. You have the bread, then you want to have some wine. You know, it was just interesting just to go and have that. And then I think these are really early pairing experiences for me that I didn't really understand at the time, but they just work so well that you just whenever you have more of this thing, you want to have some of this thing to sort of balance it off. My wife and business partner Mew, she would often say, you know, sweet drink, well then don't have a sweet food, you know. And if you're gonna have a sweet food, don't have a sweet drink. So and I really like that because then you have some balance, you know. But if you put a bunch of honey and sugar into your drink and then you're having a sweet food, it gets very cloying. You get this kind of overwhelmed with all this sugar. But the nice thing about matcha and tea is because of those bitters and those acids, etc., they do really well with sweeter flavors. So if you're gonna have something that's a little bit sweet, and this is sweet. I mean, it's not like terribly sweet. It's not. I feel my teeth coming out of my mouth sweet. It's great. But there's a definite pairing happening that I really am keen about. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna pair mine with some dried apple.
Do it. Okay.
So, you know what I just did is I did it 2 cup transfers, but I realized I made it at 80 degrees.
Okay.
And it was actually unbearable.
Okay.
And then I just made another batch. Unfortunately, I couldn't even, like, it was just that 80 degrees. And then now I made it, and now it's absolutely delicious. I just made it at 60 degrees.
Case in point, hey? Like, the 80 degree one that you found unbearable probably would be more bearable if you added some fat to it or if you diluted it. You know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If I added hot water or some milk.
Or if you just had a whole bunch of red bean you were snacking away on, and then you wanted to balance that out a bit. So it does really work well. Cool. Okay.
These dried apples pair really nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
no.
The dried apples, they pair really well with this matcha. I'm not kidding. Oku.
You know, when we started, we were doing a cafe at one point called Spiced Water, and I remember that the first thing we did when we opened up the cafe is we did tea and apple pairings as our main thing for sharing. I really think that different apples pair with different teas. It was very interesting to talk to the owners of Moonstruck Cheeseworks. They're no longer in business; they retired, but they would name their cheeses after their cows, and it was an amazing small cheese company on Salt Spring Island. And I remember talking to them about, you know, like, how do I do a pairing? And they actually took me through it. They're like, hey, you know, pair strong teas with strong cheeses. So if you want to do a cheddar, then normally in the world of wine, they would do like a bold, spicy red wine. So then I went with like a really beautiful, stronger sort of crimson tea. And then with their white bloom cheeses, which is like, if you know cheeses from Brie or from Camembert, and they're often called that even when they're produced not in those villages, but the technical name for that style of cheese is a white bloom cheese. But so if you want to pair with a white bloom cheese, a milder tea like a sencha, it does really nice because then it's just a nice way. So I've always taken that I've drawn from that conversation, and when I was doing apples, I remember, okay, this is high acid. This is more neutral and sweet, you know. Like it's kind of interesting to try and pair like with like, and it just helps to draw it out a little bit. So yeah, I find red bean just does so lovely with green tea in general. Like matcha is just like a no-brainer. But if I was gonna have, you know, it actually still tastes good with a crimson tea. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know. There's something about this. I think it's more than just the tannin and the acid. There's just a really beautiful something. Je ne sais quoi.
I agree, and I feel that when I play the Jaga Fridays, I'm always extremely excited about the pairing of Daifuku and matcha. Even the latte. I don't get my lattes sweetened, though, if I'm ever having dessert with it. I generally don't sweeten my lattes, even though there's a little bit of sugar from the oat milk.
Right, yeah. Even if there's, well, you know, our oat milk doesn't have sugar in it, but, you know, both in milk and in oat milk, there's inherent sort of occurring sugars that are not necessarily added. Like lactose is a sugar, and it's in milk, and oat milk is going to have its equivalent for sure. And oftentimes that's enough. When you steam milk really hot, you can actually burn that away a bit, and you can make it a little bit bitter by denaturing those sugars. Excuse me, and you can it's not as pleasant, but no, it's so this Friday though we will be having the Kiwi Daifuku, and speaking of the Music Fridays, I'm stoked to bring them back. I believe we're planning on March, the final Friday in March.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, all right, very cool. Okay, awesome. But maybe you can before we part, maybe you can tell everybody what you've been up to a little bit. Like what has Sister Speak been doing, and what can people kind of tune into if they want to check out a little bit of what you've been up to?
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So in a nutshell, just I don't want it to make this too long.
Yeah.
It's been a wild few weeks. It started in Vermont.
Yeah.
Made my way to New York City. Flew to Costa Rica, played a few shows there, and it was so fun. Everyone was really careful with COVID out there. It was all outdoors. We were outside like 99% of the time, except when we were sleeping.
Okay.
And so it was cool. The venue promoted really well. They were full or sold out, all of them, and that was really special. And then flew into California and got to see how every city is completely different with guidelines.
Every city.
Did some. What's that?
Every city, not just every state.
Yeah, every city. So imagine a California tour. Literally every venue was completely different. What?
Sorry, I just oh my goodness, I just have a guest show up who I haven't seen in like forever. He used to own the Serendipity Tea Company, and he was living in Croatia for as long as I know. And he literally just walked up to the door, and I totally thought he was still in Croatia. So anyway, I was just waving at him through the window. I'm going to go say hi when we're done here. Please keep talking. This is exciting what you've been up to. Sorry for the distraction.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Hello, Croatia. That's cool. Yeah, so no, it was just like boom, boom, boom. But managed to just stay focused, and San Diego had no guidelines at all.
Oh my.
And that was interesting. And just imagine the set ending and people you haven't seen in 2 years. Luckily, I knew a lot of them had been careful, or they'd come with a negative test, or I knew they were vaccinated. Just imagine 40 people coming this far away from you.
Wow.
With no guidance at the venue and no mask inside. So it was overwhelming for me. I ended up getting a splitting migraine within 5 minutes. It was my first experience of that. And it was like, so, and then some people realized, I think, that I was overwhelmed. So I just went outside for a minute and we talked out. It was great. And then the next night, San Diego, same thing. 2 nights in a row in San Diego.
That's hard. Yeah, and they just reinstituted a mask policy. So that was just unlucky timing.
The day we left, I was like, thank God. So that was last week. And then Sacramento and Los Angeles all had a vax card or negative test mandate and masks. So those ones felt safe, and it was really easy. San Diego, I was still careful. Like my friends that have been touring a lot and not getting COVID, like honestly, as soon as the set's done, the mask goes on.
Wow.
And they really have been. It's been the deal breaker.
That's cool.
Friends that have been just kind of like free for all, interacting with everybody, just however they've been getting it. So,
cool.
I wanted to make it through. Yeah, so they made it back.
If you're careful, you're careful.
The day. What's that?
I'm being told that Adrian is here. I was telling the audience that Adrian's here, and now I'm being told Adrian's here. Yes, I'm really excited about that, and I'm really, that's really. I'm glad that you're safe. I'm glad that you've made it here. I'm glad that you've been getting negative tests, even though you've had some really scary, spaces that you've been in. But it sounds like you've had a really good time. And from what I've seen from your social media, it's pretty exciting. So yeah.
It's been amazing with the band. Yeah. Well, it's been really fun. And we ended up with the States. You get a test when you come back to the States the day of your flight within 24 hours. So we just did that. We got one like basically the day of our flight.
Sweet.
Because the PCR tests, they come back a lot quicker down there.
1
So
second.
yeah. So
Tell him will be
yeah.
2 minutes. Okay, sorry. No, I'm glad that you have tested negative, and that you're well. Sorry, this is so distracting.
It's okay. We can catch up. But yeah, that's basically what I do. It was a blast with the band. Had a blast. Everybody was really respectful still. Like when I say something, like everywhere, people would respect it. So that was really
That's cool.
good.
That's really cool. Awesome. Okay. No, like you know, and who knows what the future holds in terms of, you know, where the pandemic's going. But yeah. We call for those watching, we call Sherri the COVID sheriff. So we know she's safe. So yeah, I'm at least careful with everybody. So I'm glad you're able to, you know, when you're in these challenging situations, you can step outside and you can deal with it. And I'm glad your tour sounds like it went really well.
Yeah.
Where can people find your stuff online?
Sisterspeakmusic.com. Sorry, sisterspeakmusic.com, and that also links to the Patreon page.
Beautiful. Yeah, and where people can watch your shows live every Thursday at 12 o'clock. And and they can then join us for JagaVision. And next week it'll be really fast too. Today is kind of a power session. We're ending with our 30 minutes. Next week, if we can make it happen, we're planning on making matcha eggnog lattes with eggnog made by our friends over at Folepi. So yeah, it should be good times. And then we'll be we'll take a break from JagaVision for 2 weeks. So yeah, thank you very much, Sherri, for coming on the show. Especially, I know you often join us a little bit later, so I'm really appreciative that you were able to make it happen sooner. So yeah, we'll see you hopefully later on today in person here in Victoria. So yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Woo!
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Okay. And those watching can join us next week, 1 o'clock. JagaVision episode 85 will be the last episode of 2021, and then we'll be taking a 2-week break. So check us out, 1 o'clock, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.